Ladies and gentlemen, it's not every day that you get to meet the living legends. Joining me today on NDTV's flagship series, India Through the Eyes of Its Icon, is a man who's undoubtedly a living legend, but more than a living legend, the man stands for something very rare in today's life, particularly in the business life, and that is undiluted principles. Mr. KP Singh, welcome to NDTV.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Mr. Singh, when I was going through your book, I must confess that I have not been able to fully read it. It came late to me, and I also promised that I will spend more time reading it. But I've gone through it. And one thing stands through this book, and that is that every stage of your life, you have learned something from people who are either senior to you in age or experience or are sitting in positions of power. And that, despite facing certain setbacks from those people or certain adverse situations, courtesy those people. That, to my mind, is a very evolved trait, Mr. KP Singh. How did you get that?
One is natural in me, natural. And second is also, I had good fortune of meeting two great wizards who became my mentors actually in life. One was a person called George Hoddy. He was the chairman of Universal Electric Company in USA, whom we partnered to make motors here. Other one was Jack Welch, who was the chairman of GE. Now, both these people said only one thing, drilled in my mind, that you must learn not to react, but to hear somebody, then respond with a view always that every conversation, something you learn. And learning is a constant process. So for me, it became like a mantra. I like to, every stage, anything, if I hear something new, I try to learn. So my life is based upon the learnings as I progress in my life. And and I believe some people they don't follow this, they make mistakes. And then they learn from their mistakes. I learn from others' mistakes. And that reminds me of a very big saying, which has etched in my memory very much. So one day I asked this great leader, Jack Welch, who gave me permission to sit in his office. It was a different experience, you see, how people come. He was a real legend. So I asked him one day, I said, amongst the various things, but what would you call it? One point which has been the essential gradient of the success of your life. So he said, KP, there can be so many, but one point, if you want me to, is this. I hire people who make mistakes. I don't hire people who are very shy to make mistakes. Because mistake making, you do but you must have the courage to make a mistake. So, if you ask me, my essentials quote, lessons learned by me from my past actions or policy failures have given me an opportunity to begin again more intelligently, unquote. Which means I get lessons out everything. And I encourage everybody around me, make mistakes, but learn lessons. So learning a lessons is an essential ingredient of success of life. That's my view.
And another thing in your book, Mr. KP Singh, is that through the journey of your life, it has lessons for everybody, all age groups, various kinds of people. Since you were in military, you have a military background. People from services, people, who are employees, who are employers. But one thing is the thread is grand, and that grand thread is that you write at one point of time, and I see it very interestingly that you write it as KP speak. One thing is that you say that confidence breeds success, and if you are underconfident, if you are not sure of what you are trying to do, that is sure to breed failure. That, I think, is a mantra that all ages can follow. Is it?
Yes. You see, as a way of my life, something in me that very thing like you are talking to me, my mind is like a supercomputer. It will start processing what you are saying and what kind of thing I should be responding. So it is the constant desire to keep on moving around in life, and I, for one, frankly, how do I say, that I've enjoyed, frankly, working, looking at each opportunity, and some failed, some succeeded, but I was mostly, which succeeded, was the essence of my life.
In all of this, you began by saying, Mr. KP Singh, and somebody like you who has every right to claim the credit for mega success that you have achieved in your life. You began by saying that I was fortunate enough. I ask this question to all our legends whom I speak to for this series, along with my colleague Maria, who's unfortunately not here today, that how much do you credit luck? And you mention about luck in your book as well. How much do you credit luck? You say an element of luck in your book. You say a small dose of luck. How much do you credit luck for your success, Mr. KP Singh?
Small.
Small, just as you have written in your book.
Well, small, because some people say, oh, is your luck or is your destiny? I disagree.
Oh.
Destiny is what you make it, what you attempt to make it. But in the bargain, some people call it luck, but if you just keep on sitting hoping for luck to come, you don't succeed. So I don't know, I don't say luck is the only criterion of moving in life. Yes, some small element, sure.
So
some people are very unlucky. Anything you do, you go. But my thing, a small portion.
So you would believe in the dictum that fortune favors the brave?
Definitely. In fact, I have, I think, written also that there is a big learnings I had from a great guy called Mr. H.D. Shori. वो ये है कि brave you have to be. Then fortune comes to you, whether it comes to you directly or through God or whatever it is. There is a slogan called Himmat-e-Marda, Madad-e-Khuda. Himmat ho, courage. Then God's blessing comes to you. Without himmat, nothing happens in my life. So I'm a great believer of courage.
Since you are a military man, those words actually sit very well in your mouth, Mr. KP Singh. Let me ask you one thing. You were a great soldier. All your officers mentioned in this book. You've quoted Lord Wavell. he had a very small but nonetheless very impactful tenure in India. You've quoted multiple commanding officers, uh, uh, corps commanders. One of them is General Kaul, if I'm not wrong.
BG call.
General BG Kaul. Uh, and many of them had very distinct styles. And one of that was wherein you distinguish in your writing the book between pride and ego. Wherein you said that he used to call the brightest of the officers to his office, and he used to present them with a secret dossier, much to the dismay of the officers. But he said that ego is a virus that I do not wish to spread in my units. How much did you apply that to your long, very, very spectacular business career, Mr. KP Singh?
Quite a lot. And frankly, firstly, I must compliment you. You picked up a very important point of the book.
Thank you very much.
Because that has, even now, effect on me. And what is that? That is, I was a small captain. My role was only a general sitting in his room this side, is up in the hill in Udhampur, a corps commander. And officers come, if they go to meet the general, they have to pass through my room. That's it. No other role.
You were the adjutant?
No, I'm not the adjutant. I was the what you call the staff officer to the corps commander of Kashmir. Then there is only one corps.
Yeah.
At that time, only. So he was a big man. So what was happening was, as I describe in this thing, he just gave me, he used to speak very little. He gave me a book. So he gave me a list. Call these officers, this every 2 months, this 3 months, this 6 months. That's it. No reason, how, wherever. And for the detail, talk to the BGS, Joginder Singh, the brigadier in charge of this thing. He is also a very quiet man. So you go to this. He knew exactly he only between general and the brigadier. Nobody. So people came, and when they come initially, they're all bright officers. And in the army, what they call a swagger stick.
Yes.
Swagger stick, you keep on. You come full of confidence, and hello, old boy. So you stand up, you just say, good morning, sir, how are you? This is very well. They go inside. When they come out of the room, it's something has happened. They have to go out of my room, but not to say goodbye, how was it? Oh, I'm okay. Like this. So something has happened inside. So months passed. So I asked General Budari at that time, I said, sir, can I learn from you? I don't know what is happening. So he said, okay, young man. He was very fond of me. He said, come in the evening, have a drink with me in Tara Niwas, there is the residence. So sat down. He said, look, young man, whether you are in the army or in a civilian role, one thing is very important, that you have to select the best people in your organization to support you. In army, you win the battle. In business, you bring profits to the company. But it is known that if they keep succeeding and they are not ticked off, he used the word ticking off in the army language, then they think that they become God Almighty, and that's called egoism. And once you are ego, then you no longer remain a good competent officer. So one of the role of mine is to keep these officers and to enable them to remain competent. And so when they go slightly track, so I know that this is 2 months process. The guy is 2 months he has to be ticked off. This can be 4 months, this was 6 months. I said, how this is an art. And this means commanding officer and everything. And then I felt that this is one of those things. So one day on a jovial side, my late wife, I was telling a couple of things to her. So she told me, I hope you are not trying General Badalia's trick on me because I'm trying to dress her down. She said, this is not. Because every human being needs ticking off. That was the way. And I followed it.
Mr. KP Singh, another point, let me then bring you to the book back. In terms of your personal relationship for a young man, though coached by your officer, you took a very pragmatic decision about Miss Julie, your, shall I say, first love,
Yep.
if I'm not wrong
Yep.
in saying so. That kind of a pragmatic decision, of course, you were coached by your senior, again, your commanding officer, if I'm not wrong, to be pragmatic in taking, and you write about it, that when you are choosing a life partner, you need to be very pragmatic. And hence
No, that was not the reason. No. I think the book will tell you. Actually, the person was the same, this General Badalia.
General Badalia, okay.
He happened to be military advisor,
Okay.
then brigadier.
Okay.
He later on came to the army as commander academy.
Okay.
He gave me sword of honor.
Okay.
I stood first. And then he took me in his regiment. I became staff. So I had
That was Deccan Horse.
Deccan Horse. So I remained along with him. So it is not that. What happened was, since I used to play polo, and he was a great polo player, so polo meant you're going to a different circle of people. Not engineers. Engineers are not polo players mostly. It is different kind of people. So he one day asked me, "Okay, young man, you are doing engineering here, and you play good polo. Two things are not consistent. Are you doing the right thing?" So I had no clue. I'm enjoying playing polo. I'm enjoying life here. This, that, and all. He said, "No."
And I am enjoying Julie's friendship.
And all this life, your friends, everything, it's fun. So he said, "No, young man, I would like you to appear before a board of officers. No cost to you, but just for the heck of it. It'll mean to you." So in Bournemouth, in England, there is a institute you must have known about called Sandhurst.
Yes, Sandhurst.
You
write about it in your book, and I have read it otherwise.
Yes, so Sandhurst is a place. So he said, "I'll arrange." Now, by that time, India had just become independent. So there's no question of anybody being interviewed. So he said he will approach the headquarters here, got permission for me to be interviewed. So I just got intimation that, look, on so-and-so date, you go for, and free every passage, rail passage. So Julie and myself both were just having fun. So you just go around. So I went there, a 5 days interview. And they were among the British officers. It was quite a rigorous test. They do 5 days, make jump, all kind of things they do. I forgot. After a couple of weeks, I got a message that I was selected and report to Dehradun. In Dehradun, you start term only on the 2nd of January. Already, so I said, "No, I can't go."
You were late and a concession was made to you.
Yes. They gave me two months relaxation.
Yes.
So this general told me that, "Look, Mr. So-and-so, you have stood first among British officers. Your life lies in cavalry, Indian Army. And if you are put to the same engineering examination, you will perhaps fail because your aptitude is not there." So then came to me that if I go to army, which I would love to know, what do I do to my luxurious side of life?
Including a haircut which was given to you at the IMA.
Yes, so in the academy. But my point is that what happens in life is, which I've got strange thing, and I now see, a time comes in your life when your head tells you differently, your heart tells you differently. Anything which you do in your life, the emotional balance, which I had, emotionally I was involved. I was aristocratic. She was the only granddaughter of a very large estate, large people.
Miss Julie.
Yes, Julia, all. But my head told me that that is short term. Luxury is a short term item. And England, as you know, people at 65, 70, they are almost half dead because lords, then what? But the other side is hard life. Hard life means, but hard life what? Among the soldiers, training. And if I am so being judged by this high board as number one, then directionally my mind is telling me that my success will lie in that direction. So ability of a human being to analyze dispassionately, head separately unbiased, emotion separately, and then taking a decision is called head over heart. Decision should never be heart over head. I followed it, I followed this, and when the consequence of that was, I had to naturally letting down the young lady.
Now let me, with great amount of difficulty, I of course would wish to talk to you on a longer plane about the military life and the escapades that you had afterwards. But time is a great leveler, so I have to move on, and I must ask you, KP Singh, the man behind the success of India's biggest, most well-known, reputed brand, that is DLF. So I must ask you, how did that happen, Mr. KP Singh? A lot of difficulties I've seen that you've written in the book, and
you see,
a different era completely.
No, there are 2-3 essential things that happen when I say buyer. Yes, of course, business was closed, it was nationalized, and banks would not give money. You can't get all jig back. But for me, one of the great learnings I made was that anything you do in your life, analyze deeply. And this ability I developed from Mr. George Hoddy. Anything I do, I go very deep detail, very deep detail. And then analyze for that what is the good point, what is the negative point, and therefore what should I be doing? And this is called ability of a human being to go deep detail. So when I do that deep dive into, can I revive this business? Because business closed completely. Everything was, I found it was very difficult, frankly. But something happened in the family, they pushed me, this, that, not happened. So I said, okay, let me get it. But when I got involved.
Your sister-in-law said that, they have been known as DLF girls.
Yes, and once if you don't, jump into the sea, you don't swimming. If you don't come back, we will not mourn for you. We know you will come back. So that kind of thing kicked me like this thing. So I said, okay. But when I got involved, I became systematic. My whole success in life is highly systematic. Now, what was the system? Firstly, I had to understand exactly what is the real estate business? Why was it banned 1958? What happened to the country after 58 to now? Good thing happened or bad thing happened? If good thing happens, you're banging your head against the wall. If the decision of the government led to rampant unauthorized development,
construction,
rampant, and all jhuggi, jhopri, everything went, then that is very good opportunity to demonstrate to the policymaker that decision 58 may have been taken in the right frame of mind at that time.
As you write in the book.
Yes. But now situation has changed.
Mr. KP Singh, now let me bring you to my last question. I do not wish to take much more of your time, but let me ask you one thing. You've written in your book also that, what happens is that Indian students go abroad, they meet fellow Indian students, it's a good company, they keep amongst themselves. That should not happen. That should not happen, and students, youngsters should meet people from all walks of life, because that's how businesses operate. conglomerates operate in a very diverse culture, and they encourage people from diverse backgrounds to meet and interact with each other. You also told me, Mr. KP Singh, when we were talking informally, that India's prestige under India's current leadership has gone up very high, and that places where you are invited to speak, a lot of places where you are invited to speak, India is now completely looked at from a different prism.
Yep.
What do you think, Mr. KP Singh, that Indian diaspora, Indian students, diasporic conglomerate is one aspect, students are another aspect, and the leadership is another aspect. What do you think they should continue to do right for India to find its rightful space and place on the high table of International Committee of Nations? We are moving in that direction, but what these three components should continue to do for India to reach its rightful place? We are still not there.
Answer of that is India's economic power, I'm happy to say, is rapidly increasing under Prime Minister Modi. How much is increased, everybody is to see. How stock exchanges are going up, everybody is to see. Everything there. I see it outside. The amount of prestige has come to being an Indian is only because of the leadership in India, as seen by outside world. So my point is that as we go along, one is leadership, there's no doubt about this, political leadership. Mr. Modi is now among the top few business leaders of the world. His relation with Mr. Putin or relation with Trump, and his relation worldwide are the most respectable thing what he has created. Along with that, entrepreneurs in India are driving the economy up. So key thing is this, that when you reach really what they are saying, say the third largest economy, which I'm told with only 3-4 away, 3-4 I think they said it is 3-4 years away, 4 years or something, IMF. So very close. This means when you reach that position, backed up by the political and worldwide statesmen, I would say India will be on the high table of influencing world politics. We are there, I feel it, and I do believe that Indian diaspora is now much more proud because they are respected today. Tomorrow, if economically you are down, nobody bothers about a country. It only prestige is up, which is directly proportional your economic strength in the world. That's how it is.
So by the time you hit a century, you think India would be certainly very firmly placed on the high table, Mr. KP Singh. Thank you very much on that very happy
I wish I was 25 years younger. I would have ensured, worked hard, but sadly, at my age, I can't do, but it's a wonderful opportunity in India. You have no idea the amount of opportunity in India is today. And I think India is doing very well in my view.
And as I said, thank you very much. But you know, people like you, just by being around, add so much of heft to our stature as a country. I must say that, Mr. KP Singh, before we finish this. And thank you very much for joining NDTV. Best of luck with your book. I wish and I hope and I pray that a lot of youngsters pick so much of good advice from the book.
Thank you very much. Thank you.